Hello, welcome back. This is Andrea Morrison, and I am the Balance from Within podcast. So, today I wanted to talk about vibrational frequency and try and bring a little bit of clarity as to what that actually means for each of us. So, we have a frequency number measured in hertz, and the number itself is not super important right now. Just knowing that the higher that number goes, the more into an expanded state of consciousness you actually become. So each one of us has this individual type of vibrational frequency, and it's measured using many different things in the physical world. So in the physical world, it's a combination between the rhythms of your heart, your breathing, depth, rhythm of the breathing, in your cells, in your brain. If you think about each one of those, the heart, the brain, the lungs, the cells, and other things, I'm not a scientist, but these things all make up who you are, your vibrational rhythm. It makes up you. So these are the physical parts of what makes us us. There is an internal, on the soul level, of frequency that we possess eternally. And each one of those is beautiful and unique, kind of like a snowflake. This is why sometimes you've met somebody for the very first time and you go, oh, I've known you forever. Like, I feel like we have lived together before. We know all the same things. Our interests are the same. It's because you recognize that basic soul pattern in somebody else. You recognize that frequency on a subconscious level. And those are always the coolest meetings. Whenever you meet people like that, it's like, oh God, I wish I could do that like once a week. But anyway, so when you're thinking about the heart and the lungs and the breathing, or the heart, the lungs, the cells, the brain, these are different instruments. So you have, say, Mozart is going to use these instruments and record a symphony. And Beethoven is going to use these instruments and record a symphony. They're going to sound completely different because we have this beautiful uniqueness within us to use these however we want to come up with our own little personalized snowflake. So let's talk about what raises our frequencies and what lowers our frequencies. One of the biggest things are your beliefs. Now, the first time that I heard this, I didn't quite believe it. It took me playing with it for a little while to realize the impact that has. So let's take a belief. Like if I have this underlying belief about myself that I'm stupid. Everybody else is smarter than me. I'm just not smart enough. So let's say that that's my belief system, my belief pattern. Now, where did that come from? Most likely, I took on this programming as a child. Maybe at a very foundational part in school or something, I thought that I was doing really well and I was just brilliant, and I find out that, like, say I failed a test that I thought I should have aced, and I go, oh, well, that just kind of deflated me. I'm stupid. And now I've told myself that I'm stupid. Now, what happens when somebody else outside of you goes, oh, you're just an idiot. You're such an idiot. Well, you take on that programming. Like, okay, maybe I am an idiot. Like, all these other people have said I'm an idiot. Maybe I'm an idiot. And when we have this belief system, that basically creates a foundation of us. I mean, I'm standing on this belief. This has created who I am. Now, what happens when I start challenging that belief system? What if I said that I don't like the way I feel when I don't feel smart? What happens when I start challenging that belief system? It's going to change who I am, because I'm going to start picking out little things in my day that it could be something as simple as, I finished my month end and it all reconciled out to zero. And I did it on the first try. To me, I'm like, oh, I'm brilliant. That was perfect. Oh, I'm so smart. So I pick out that little thing, little tiny thing. Now, what if I start looking for those things during the day that I feel intelligent about? Like I figured something out. Oh, I'm intelligent. I beat a game on my phone. Oh, I'm smart. These little things will start to change that belief system. Now, another thing that will really help your belief system is to stop listening to the opinions of other people. These opinions are just that. They're just opinions. They're just thoughts that they had that they spoke out loud or expressed. Let's just say expressed. And you decided to take that on and own that as who you are. So what if you could put a little barrier up between you and everybody else in the world and say, you are completely entitled to your opinions. I don't have to believe that about me. I get to choose my beliefs about me. Now that is going to change your frequency, because when you start feeling better about yourself, you start feeling happier about yourself, things just change. And eventually what you find out is that you are slowly becoming a different person because of this different foundation that you've built. And sometimes it will start out with some mantras. You might want to try those. I mean, they're great if you already believe a part of it. I couldn't stand in front of the mirror at one of my more or less intelligent points of my life and looked at myself and said, you are the smartest person I know. Because that's insanity. I don't even believe a tiny aspect of that. But what if I start using all those little celebrations that I found during the day and said, hey, that's not bad. I'm pretty smart there. That starts to change the foundation of who I am. Now that is going to start to change my internal emotions about me. And emotions are probably one of the biggest things to pay attention to in your day when you're starting this journey of expansion or just finding out who you are or changing who you are. If you don't like who you've been, this is a great way to change into something that you want to be or something that you prefer. So let's take emotions. There's a whole range of emotions, and Dr. David Watkins assigned a numeric value to each one of these in hertz. And I don't know all the science behind that, and the numbers themselves aren't really that important. What I want you to understand is that if you have these feelings of anger, shame, fear, guilt, these things are what we would consider really low vibration. So if you feel angry in this moment, it's a lot different feeling in your body than when you feel joy. So think of yourself doing the thing that you absolutely love, the best pastime you've ever had. The feeling in your body completely changes. So what you've just done is you have flooded every cell in your body with the emotion of joy. Joy has now changed your heart rate. It has changed your breathing. It has changed your cells, and it has changed your thought process just by feeling that one feeling. So let's take an analogy where, say I'm driving to work and there's an erratic driver behind me and they come squiggling up the road and cut me off and they just keep on going. Now, my knee-jerk reaction used to be that of anger. That was my go-to feeling. Ask my family. That was my go-to feeling, was anger. I would start yelling obscenities, screaming in my car. These people can't hear me. But I'm screaming in my car, and what I have just done is I've flooded my entire body with the emotion of anger, with a very, very low frequency. So let's see what happens when I get to work and I walk in and I go, oh, lucky to be here. This idiot on the road cut me off, almost killed me, I almost died today. I'm going to elevate it. Why not? I'm already in this enraged emotion. And then everybody around me at work will go, oh, yeah, that highway's the worst. People drive like idiots. Nobody knows what they're doing. It's a dangerous, dangerous place to be. Now I have just shared this enraged, angry emotion with my whole office. Now I'm going to go on my day. Everybody who comes into my office and they say, hey, how are you today? Oh, lucky to be alive. I was almost killed on the highway here. Okay, now I've just affected that person. So what happens if we pause in this moment of our car? The person squiggles behind us, cuts us off, and keeps on going. I don't know what's going on in that car. I have no idea. What if I could come up with a scenario that maybe this person just got an emergency phone call about their child? Maybe their child is sick, in danger, at the hospital, dying, whatever. That is going to cause another driver to drive a little erratically. It would for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it would for me. What if this person in the car was having their own medical emergency? I don't know what's going on in the car. Could be. Maybe they just found out some devastating news and they're not completely present while they're driving. I can think about all of these different scenarios and think about how does that change how I feel in that moment. Let's go with they got a family emergency. Can I understand that? Can I accept that? Yeah, I can. I can accept that. I could see myself doing probably that same thing in that situation. So now my emotion goes from rage and anger to acceptance. Now, what if I went one step further and I say, oh my gosh, this family is having an emergency day. What if I sent them some love? What if I sent them unconditional love for whatever their journey is today? I just feel that, send it to them. Call it prayer, whatever you want to call it. Now I've gone from rage and anger to acceptance to unconditional love. So now I've just flooded my entire body, all my cells, with unconditional love. Now I'm going to tell you something. Your cells operate 100 times better when they are flooded with unconditional love. When you spend all of your waking hours in a state of anger, rage, fear, guilt, shame, your cells never see the light of day. They never come above water. They are slowly drowning. And what happens is you get sicker and sicker, and you feel worse, and you start attracting all of that is that same thing to you. Not even necessarily attracting. That's all you're going to see. You're going to walk into a room and you will pick out the thing that is on that wavelength. Now, I know personally that I would rather treat my body nicer than anger. So now let's say I go into work, I've stuck with this anger thing, told everybody about it, and then I go, wait a minute, I can pivot from this. I can think about something that brings the knee-jerk reaction of happiness. Could be that perfect cup of coffee, they got the good creamer at work. It could be, I don't know, look up funny cat videos, something that'll make you laugh or will change the emotion within you. Because we can use our knee-jerk reactions for however we want. So I can go from anger and hate and to, oh, now I'm laughing. Now the laughing, the knee-jerk reaction to laughing, that was also a program that you took on as a child. There was some video you watched, there was some comedian that you followed, and they made you laugh. So every time you even saw their face, you would get a smile. Now, why not use that belief system? Why not use that foundation that you've already built for yourself to start to change the knee-jerk reaction of anger? So now, as I go throughout my day, because I've changed my whole thing to happy, my day is going to be a lot better because my cells are now going, oh, thank you, Andrea. We couldn't live in the anger, shame, guilt, love, fear. Oh, we couldn't do it. We just couldn't do it. And now I'm having a good day. My cells are doing exactly what they need to do. My heart rate has slowed down. My breathing has gotten deeper. All the things that make your life better. Seems easy, right? So how do we move forward in this? How do we make this part of our routine? The cool part is just play with it. Don't get excited about, or not excited, but don't get overly judgmental about yourself if you didn't catch it in the moment it happened. It's okay to have momentary feelings. We're supposed to feel all the feels. That's why we're here. But feel it, but don't become it. When that happens, you go, ugh, I don't want to feel like that. Now I'm angry. I'm going to pivot from that. And you'll start noticing that you're going to pivot quicker and quicker and quicker. Now, people outside of you might not realize that you're doing any of this until all of a sudden they're all driving in the car with you one day and somebody goes squiggling up behind you, cuts you off, and everybody goes, oh, here it comes, here it comes. And you go, gosh, I hope everything's okay with them. Now everybody's going to kind of take notice in you. And that's okay. Let them have their own adjustment to who you're becoming. Because that's exactly what's happening, is you are becoming the next version of who you want to be. And that can be some of the most fun and exciting things to do with your day, is to just start picking up on little things that you can do differently. And what you're going to notice is you're creating a brand new belief system, a brand new foundation underneath you, where now all your cells are thriving in the 6 to 10 hour, 12-hour workday, whatever you're doing. For your waking hours, you are going to spend the majority of that in acceptance, in joy, in unconditional love. You're going to spend the majority of that time in a feeling that you really enjoy. Once. And it's going to be funny because you're going to look back on it and be like, oh, that is not how I would have reacted to that 10 years ago, 5 years ago, yesterday. Why not? And that's how you notice that you're actually becoming something different. I'm going to give you a couple little things. Don't judge yourself for not doing it quick enough. Let it be exactly what it's going to be. When you catch it, you catch it. And you say, good job. And then you move on. Now, going forward, in the next episode, I think what we're going to talk about is how these emotions can change your health. So, if you liked what you heard today, if you thought it was something to do with, the last 15, 20 minutes of your day, hit all the buttons. It helps me. And then I look forward to talking again. And if you have questions or things that you want to hear about, definitely reach out, because I love co-creating. I love when I can get other people on the podcast, or if I can be on somebody else's podcast, because there's nothing better than this dialogue back and forth. So I look forward to hanging out with you guys again. Have a great day.